Hello and welcome to our flipped video on multiplication strategies. Please make sure that you have your recording sheet in front of you and we'll go ahead and get started on this video. Let's start with some vocabulary. First we have estimation. So an estimation is a close guess to the actual value of a number. So for an example, you could write something like 59. So the estimation for 59, you could estimate that to 60. That makes sense. For your non-example, you could do 59 and say 100, because that's not a close guess to the actual value of the number. Multiplication, this is repeated addition. So write these down and then make sure that you come up with an example and a non-example for multiplication. So let's talk about multiplication by estimating, okay? So what I could do is I could do 300 times 100, okay? So 300 times 100, that's going to give me 300 because I do 3 times 1 and then I place these two zeros on the end. So that's a pretty easy way to do multiplication. So I estimated that 3 times 148, I didn't round it really, I just estimated it. So that would be 148. And then I did 3 times 148 would be 3 times 100 is a close estimation, which my answer would be close to 300. So if I actually did 3 times 148, well, my answer is 444. So I'm off, but I'm not super off. Okay, let's look at 4 times 179. Well, I could say 4 times 200. That would be a pretty good estimation. So 4 times 2. Well, I know that 4 times 2 is 8. And then 4 times 2 is 8. And you put two zeros on the end. That equals 800. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then put two zeros on the end. It's 800. Okay? Let's look at 5 times 289. So I could do 5 times 300. So what's 5 times 3? Well, 5 times 3 is 15. And then on the end, you can place two zeros. So 5 times 3 is 15, and then put two zeros on the end. So let's do 7 times 746. So I could do 7 times 700. So 7 times 7, well, I know that that's 49. And then I can take these two zeros and put it on the end, and that's 4,900. So that's a great way to do estimation because you can make it a nice round number, and you can do 7 times 7, I know that's 49, and then these two zeros get placed on the end. Not added on the end, but placed on the end. Let's look at 5 times 100. Because 129, my estimation would be 100. So 5 times 100, well, that's 500. Because I can do 5 times 1. 5 times 1 is 5. And then place the two zeros on the end. 4 times 300 instead of 301. So 4 times 3 is 12. And then I can place two zeros on the end. The two zeros from the 300 go on the end. So my answer is 1,200. So this is an awesome way to kind of guess what your number is going to be whenever you actually learn how to multiply it out. This way you can actually get an estimation, do this part in your head, and then go, okay, is my answer reasonable or not? And this is a great way to determine if your answers are reasonable or not. Okay. Let's talk about multiplication via the distributive property. Multiplication via the distributive property. So when we do this, I'm going to take 13 and I'm going to break it down into 10 and 3. So I'm going to set up somewhat of a strip diagram with that. I'm going to put the 6 here, the 10 goes up here, and then the 3 goes here. So I'm going to go 6 times 10. Well, 6 times 10 is 60. Then I'm going to do 6 times the 3 up here at the top, and 6 times 3 is going to be 18. Then I take these two boxes and I add them together. So 60 plus 18 is going to give me 78. So that's an awesome way to use the distributive property to help you with multiplication. Let's look again and do 20 and 7. So I have somewhat of a strip diagram again for multiplication. I'm going to put the 3 right here on the side. Across the top, since I broke 27 down into 20 and 7, I'm going to put 20 up here, and then I'm going to put 7 right here. So 3 times 20 is 3 times 2 is 6, and then I can put the 0 on the end, so 3 times 20 is 60. 3 times 7 is 21. So 60 plus 21 is going to give me 6, 7, 81. So my answer to this one is going to be 81. Let's try that one more time. Let's do another diagram. 7 times 9 is going to be 70 and 9. Then I'm going to put my 8 right here, and I have to multiply the 8 times the 70 and the 8 times the 9. So 8 times 7 is going to be 56, and then I put the 0 on the end, so that's going to give me 560. 8 times 9 is 72. So now I have to add up the 2 boxes. So 560 plus 72 is going to give me 632 as my answer. So that's my answer, 632. Okay. Let's talk about 2-digit by 1-digit multiplication. So first, I'm going to take the ones place and I'm going to multiply it times the ones place. So 7 times 4, that's where I start. So 7 times 4 is going to be 28. And then I'm going to carry the 2 up here. Then 6 times 4, so 6 times 4 is going to be 24. Plus 2 is going to be 26. So then I write down the whole number 26. So I do ones times the ones, then ones times the tens. Let's try that again. Ones times the ones, that's going to be 9 times 6. That's going to be 54. I'm only going to write down the 4, and I'm going to carry the 5 up here, okay, to the tens place. Now I'm going to do 6 times 4, which is 24, plus 5 is going to give me 29, okay? So you multiply this and then you add whatever's at the top if you have something to carry over. If you don't have anything to carry over, you just don't do that. Let's look here. 9 times 3. Well, I know that 9 times 3 is going to be 27. So I'm going to write down the 7 and I'm going to carry the 2 over here to the tens place. This becomes a plus 2, not a times 2. But first I have to multiply. I don't add, then multiply. I multiply, then add. So 9 times 4. So 9 times 4 is going to be 36, plus 2 is going to be 38. So my answer is going to be 387. Okay, so watch this as many times as you need to get a better grasp on this, but I'm going to move on. Let's talk about using a strip diagram in this problem. So a live theater has 2 stages. Stage 1 has 6 rows of seats with 13 seats in each row. Stage 2 has 3 times as many seats as stage 1. How many seats are there in both rooms? Well, I'm going to say for my answer, there are blank seats in both rooms. Okay, so first I'm going to say in my thinking box, I'm going to think that this is a 2-step problem. 1, 2. So for step 1, 6 rows with 13 seats in each. So I'm going to draw a strip diagram. And I'm going to make my 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to put 13. 13 in each row. Well, essentially, that's going to be 13 times 6. You can use any of our methods that we've used before to multiply this. So I'm going to do, except for the estimation, actually multiply it out. So 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 1 plus 1 is 7. So far, I have 78. But that's the seats in just on stage 1. Now I have to figure out stage 2 has 3 times as many as stage 1. So I'm going to break this into 3. And so 78, 78, 78, because they have 3 times as much. So now that becomes 78 times 3. So 78 times 3, 8 times 3 is 24. Carry the 2, 21, 22, 23. So that's 234. Now, with the 234 and the 78, well, this is stage 2, this is stage 1. I have to combine them. So I have to do another strip diagram, and I have to do 234 plus 78. So 234 plus 78, 8 plus 4, that's going to be 12. 7 plus 3 plus 1, that's going to be 11. So my answer is going to be 321. So step 1 was EGPT, equal groups put together. EGPT. Again, for step 2, equal groups put together. And I was wrong. This is a 3-step problem because then I had to do some and some more. Okay, so watch this as many times as you need to, and please come back if you have any questions for your teachers, and we will gladly explain. Okay, I hope you have a great evening.